It certainly is. Obviously, this goes down to the bottom of your pitch, but the pitch map just to the bottom right is going to be really interesting to see how they shape up. Who's going to be going up against who in the jaws? Looks like Caicedo's going to be, is going to be close to 8, no matter where the ball, whether they're in and out of possession. And look at the width that Esteban is given on that right hand side, and Neto on this left hand. See how June Timber deals with that, because he didn't really have a threat against something who's getting forward at will that North London derby. That won't be the case today.
It will be a very different story, isn't it?
Yes, Baba.
It's the false 9 against Barcelona. Pedro Becker leading the line for Chelsea today. Three of his 4 goals in the Premier League this season have come from playing deep into number 10.
Yeah, and that's the problem for DiCaprio Mosquera. You know, that position he takes up. Who's going to go and get tight to him? If one of them goes and gets tight to him, the space they leave him behind him will be exploited by Esteban and Neto down his left hand side.
Under pressure early, Marino making himself available though and winning it, and winning the free kick as well before Timber could over the way. The brown ticket started in that fashion.
Certainly did. Look how deep Marino came to collect that ball. He's happy to do that, and it's a different way for Arsenal playing. But as soon as he got the ball, just look down there, Martinelli and Bukayo Saka got to the top of the pitch to try and threaten that space in behind. So look, the same sort of threat coming from both sides. So whoever implements their plan better will get the upper hand.
It's important recently, hasn't he? Mikel Merino filling in that centre forward role. And as we see, dropping back into more familiar territory in midfield frequently. He's going to watch some of the first flash point comes just 2 minutes in.
It certainly did, and no surprise, Kukurea gets tight to Bukayo Saka. Lamar, the midweek against Barcelona, and he wanted to just make a statement with his first challenge. That's how I think he wins the ball. It looks theatrical the way that he gets touch on the ball. Yes, Saka goes over. He doesn't get the decision, but that's going to be a key battle in this game today.
So he did get the ball as well there, didn't he, Kukurea? But Saka wins the free kick. He was excellent, as you mentioned, wasn't he, against Lamine Yamal the other night. Somebody knows well, of course, from the Spanish national side.
Saka. Anfa. Corner. Yes. Yes.
On the way back for again for Chelsea, amongst the substitutes, Gyökeres and Gabriel Jesus for Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. Neto doubling up on Bukayo Saka and making sure they don't give a ball away. They know the threat from set pieces from this Arsenal side. That's even being shared by the Stamford Bridge crowd. They know that Arsenal are top in terms of set pieces.
Chelsea not too far behind them either this season in the Premier League. It's going to be another key aspect of this contest. Where is Esteban?
Caicedo.
His last 3 starts, his first 3 starts in the Champions League have all yielded goals for club and country. He's scored in his last 7 starts now.
I'm surprised, as I said, the superstar in the making. Declan Rice coming up again. Caicedo.
And
said that was going to be
card.
The ball from Caicedo on Mikel Merino.
And they card
looking at the stats at the bottom of our picture, Chelsea behind the back line, just 49.6 to Arsenal's 49.6 to Chelsea's 46. Arsenal hit that longer pass more often, more touches per 90, 566.8 to Arsenal's 536. And Arsenal had more touches in that final third, 150 to Chelsea's 136.
Some committing numbers forward to press high here. Caicedo looking for his colleague James. He has gone. We were looking to counter quickly.
It's the second time this has got in the space in behind that Arsenal midfield. And missing from Anthony Taylor showing his first yellow card to Zuma Mendy. So it's going to be have to work at half pace and maybe deserved because he's taken Reece James out of the game there.
It hasn't taken too long, has it, for the first caution of the contest? Taylor showing the yellow card in the direction of Martin Zubimendi. Makes a difficult job even tougher from here.
It certainly does. Just look at the stats. Arsenal just slightly ahead of Chelsea in all the metrics. 1.7 total shots to Arsenal's 13.2. Total clearances 19.4 to Chelsea, 21.7 to Chelsea. So it just shows that Chelsea's performance.
Chelsea ወደኋላ ፈገፈጋችሁ ምን ነው?
They go up just that little percentage. They would be right up there alongside Arsenal. Just makes the stats have such a bearing on your performance there. Look, total off the ball runs 140.9. Again, Arsenal 141.2. That's how closely these teams are matched. But Arsenal are heading every single one at the moment.
Chelsea can find a way to turn that around today, though, and be within 3 points of them.
Bravo, Calafiori!
Against that,
በቃ ፋውል ሳይሰራ
will be most of this game.
That's another kick back to Sanchez. Just gets away with that. You know that sometimes, that's a little bit of confidence playing the ball out the back. But both these sides will want to play at the back and have some control of the game.
There's Robert Sanchez. Look at the two Spanish goalkeepers today as well. Two of the most clean sheets in the Premier League this season. Arsenal will it back Mosquera. By Trevor Chealse.
You can see Chelsea trying to play forward, really, aren't they? Either in behind that Arsenal midfield or in behind that back line. And just testing the Arsenal back line and getting them to run back towards their own goal.
Right. And that's a clean sheet. That's 3 games in all competitions. Saying something in the context of the season that they've had.
Raya እየመጣብህ ነው ራያ Mosquera chip nice Timber አውርዶ አልገባኝም እንዴ እኮ የተገፋተረው እንዴ እግሩ ቸክሎበት ዳኛ የጨዋታ ይበላሻል
In charge of this fixture, for Anthony Taylor, he has plenty of previous for these two go head to head. Although it's the first time he's done so since they met in the FA Cup final in 2020.
Incapi. እየሄደበት nice.
Looking at Arsenal and their build up, just looking at the pitch back at the top lines. Chelsea are man for man. The middle man in is almost a spare man. It's a full-on press from Chelsea.
ኳስ በጣም ተንሸራሸረች አርሰናል ጎል ላይ
They are man for man now at the back, and they'll contest this ball.
Meeting it. Gil Marino though is underneath it. Makes it his. That's support from the boyhood blue.
Nice.
Famously released all those years ago by Chelsea before his West Ham days.
Capi.
I'm sure he'll remember that as well and use it as motivation.
Capi.
It's a fixture for him that will have that little.
የኔ ፊቸሪንግ ምትገብ
Just looking at Arsenal in their build, Phil. I think you know that Saka will give width on this.
Capi ኳስ እንደሱ አይያዝም እንዴ ሲመጡ ነው እንደተጠበቀው
Martinelli's almost going as a second centre forward.
Calafiori.
Champions League goal of the season already, just the one so far in the Premier League, but
Mosquera
back from injury in the last couple of weeks.
I just look at this right hand side, Martinelli's down at this right back position, and Timber just running forward, and that rotation. They give the ball away cheaply here.
Just take advantage, finds his captain, Reece James. Now Enzo Fernandez back to Caicedo. Treat to maintain possession for Fafana. Chopped and changed the centre-backs pretty much all season long, haven't they? These two playing together in midweek for Fafana and Chalobah. No surprise then to see them given another chance today.
Well, I think they've been consistently with some Arsenal. There's been a few injuries and a few concerns, but I think these two have consistently performed at the heart of that. Another clean sheet for the I feel to get a result.
Mosquera. Rice baby.
Not only Liverpool in the only month of the season stopped Arsenal from scoring this season.
Capi.
So I'm just looking at Chelsea without possession of the ball, and Caicedo is just making sure he's got a 9. Wherever he goes, he's just making sure he's got his foot.
Saka.
Saka again on the receiving end, and this time there's a
you can do That's
I
fine.
didn't think the first one was a foul, but I did think this was definitely a foul. And look how tight. He's gone all the way
Shalom,
on it. And Saka, I think, just gets his body in front. Yeah, and he gets in first before he gets the ball. I think that's a good decision. Look, he goes in, he gets his body across him, takes him out before he actually takes the ball. And you tell he's not messing. He branches the yellow card again.
Kita ko ባለፈው እኮ ቢጫ ነበር እንዴ?
Kukurea up against Saka. Today with a yellow to his name already. Just over 10 minutes in.
Yeah, the stats are more or less even. Arsenal more off the ball runs, their balls in behind. Chelsea trying to keep possession and trying to control the game.
That's now our match specific. We are past the 10-minute mark. Not too much between them so far.
No, but Arsenal will be happy. They've got 56.1% possession. Coming to Stamford Bridge, coming away from home, having more of the ball.
Hit.
Marino.
Habis.
Towards Martinelli. Chealse as he needed to do. Return a place to get there.
Yeah, certainly has. And I wonder if this will be a long throw for Arsenal. But be careful where you put the ball out against this Arsenal side. He's getting nice making his way across there. And it goes on this occasion. And Mosquera, no Saliba and Gabriel, we know what a threat they are from set pieces. One of these two can kind of fill their boots.
The names might have changed, but it looks like the policy will persist. Anti-packing the penalty area. Declan Rice to aim at here. We know how Fury's capable of taking these as well, but it will be Rice to launch this one. And Mosquera lost his time.
Wait, Saka!
Sanchez is there to deny him. Struck it well, as you can see with the
Here is Saka.
Bukayo Saka, but the goalkeeper was behind it, and then Joe Pedro.
Ele ታረጉ እኮ ይገባል በእናትህ ወይኔ
We had the yellow card for Mosquera.
ተቶስ ማስፌራ
Mosquera, but that will concern the Chelsea in their box. I mean, he's in acres of space. Bukayo Saka for the shot. This is the yellow card that Mosquera. Brad says, yeah, he takes him out. He knows what he's doing. And it's not the counter, but this is, you'll get sucked in. But Bukayo Saka just comes out of that area very, very quickly. There would be a question about whether he's onside or not, but Chealse Pedro is the closest to him in the end. They've got to be careful when they're coming out, Chelsea, that they don't just come out towards the ball, they pick up men as well.
Scored in his last two away games, Bukayo Saka at Slavia Pride in Sunderland. Confirmation of the caution for Mosquera, but the high press again is causing issues here. It will come for
offside.
Marino. This time the flag is up. Chelsea living dangerously in those sort of situations.
Sanchez there, just kicked the ball away, kicked it straight to a red shirt. But what Chelsea did well, they came up with the ball. It left an Arsenal player. I think it's Declan Rice in the offside position. But they just got away with that one.
Sanchez taking his time before clearing this one away.
The moment Arsenal dominated in the final third. Really had a lot of accuracy. 0% accuracy in the final third. The Chelsea is about 40% for Arsenal. So they are dominating these first minutes of the game, certainly in terms of territory.
Clearing it longer towards halfway. Good header from Chalobah. Knows well to win it. Enzo Fernandez sees that one.
Cape.
Cleared by Capier.
David Martinelli.
Direction of Martinelli.
Yes, that position Martinelli just inside, almost as a second centre forward. And they've got to be aware of that, Chelsea. He's not going to play wide today.
Inside, he was so important in the win against Spurs last week. James looking to make out. He wasn't there and is content to leave it on. Free kick was forthcoming.
Yeah, I mean, it's a battle in that midfield area, isn't it? They're trying to take control. The A's hasn't really got on the ball. There's so many bodies in that area. You don't want to give up possession where they're allowing people to get turned in those areas. You allow anybody like Rice, Eze, for Arsenal, Caicedo, Fernandez to get turned in that area, they'll punish you.
Like one by Zubimendi, onto it quickly.
So he's unlucky. He's just tried. Martinelli's on his own on the end of the box. He tried to pick him out with the first time pass. It's just intercepted by his shirt.
Alright.
Declan Rice. Now Calafiori. Outfield player to defend for Arsenal this season. Here, so Fernandez wanted for Esteban to run here at Capier. Esteban has Pedro Neto in the middle. It was alert to the opportunity, wasn't it? the man was supposed to make anything more of it.
His lovely play between Estevao
Bukas sudah buta wadoji. Ini syarat tele.
Against Barcelona in midweek, and he was really unlucky not to get his shot off. It was a terrific block by an Arsenal shot.
Caicedo goes down to the far and comes away with the ball. Speed at the moment. Here's Malo Gusto.
Look at Estevao's touch that. He's had that touch outside the box, which just now he's just got in the box and just laid off the netter. And they've got to be aware of that Arsenal they're allowing possession and the same for Saka, who's had more of the ball in that final third, as the stats suggest, and he's got into the box and had that shot that was well saved by Robert Sanchez.
Saka.
Been a feature of the opening quarter of an hour or so. And Saka with 4 touches in the final third. Nobody else more than 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the stats at the bottom of your picture. 3 touches in the final third for Chelsea, 10 for Arsenal, 55% possession for Arsenal to 44% for Chelsea. At the moment, it's Arsenal dominating this game in the first 15 minutes.
Right there. Much of it coming down Saka's side. One of the goals against Colin in the midweek. And surprisingly, that was his first assist in any competition of the calendar year.
What's surprising there is that Calafiori is it's a full press from Chelsea, and Calafiori's gone from left back to centre forward to try and win that high ball, and he can't quite get his head on.
He's given away to Caicedo. Couldn't quite reach it. Enzo Fernandez has it here for Chelsea. This is Fafana. The Blues try and build from the back. Chalobah.
Look at the stats in terms of total pressure. That's what this game is all about. First 17 minutes, it's about pressures. Pedro James and Neto have been at the top of that data for Chelsea. And no surprises, defenders have had more of the ball because they haven't been able to really get into midfield players or the forward players yet. But is it an opportunity for Chelsea?
The change here. Estevao looking forward. João Pedro and.
Wait, now, but that's
Estevao on the end of it. Just couldn't quite keep it down.
Yeah, that's the best chance of the game. And it's a lovely little exchange of passes between Estevao and João Pedro. He puts Estevao down the right-hand side. He continues to try to support players from Mosquera. And he's under pressure, but he should do better. Really be getting that on target. But he's just put under pressure by a couple of Arsenal players closing him down.
This was the earlier one. Declan Rice made a vital intervention as Pedro Neto tried to find a way through.
That's a brilliant chance. I think he puts it through his legs and he reacts brilliantly. Declan Rice, such a sharp turn to block the shot from Neto.
Watching for error in making it over. Was that from Rice? There's Nketiah away in no-nonsense fashion, really. Fafana beats it. Now Eberechi Chiesa.
Right on his boots, right on his heels. Not allowing him any time or space. I think that Enzo Maresca thinks that'll be a key battle, so he's put his best defensive midfield player on Enzo. He's in terrific form at the moment.
I see a hat-trick a week ago in the North London derby. The same sort of freedom just at the moment. Estevao seeing more of it in Chelsea blue. Here he goes. Hasn't quite got his range set yet.
No, he hasn't, but he's found his space. He's found space. He's gone outside on the last occasion. This time he drives inside. Lovely pass between the lines into Gusto to get Arsenal running back towards their own goal. He takes that inside line and he can't quite get it on target. 61 miles per hour. He'd be disappointed again because he doesn't hit the target. But much better from Chelsea in the last few minutes.
He's a joint top scorer this season in all competitions, Estevao, with 5 goals to his name already, the 18-year-old. Just one of those so far, though, in the Premier League.
And Arsenal get out of the press and look at the space in their midfield now. Now they can get forward. 4 players across that front line and they pick out the right pass.
Fury looking for that Martinelli. It was a fraction behind it, but he does get on the end of it. Now Mikel Merino. Fury Martinelli still ahead of him. Fafana comes away with it. James was trying to release Estevao. It's a little unfortunate that he wasn't quite able to do that.
Yeah, the counter attack as well, wasn't it? As well. So Chelsea trying to, as soon as they win the ball, they're trying to exploit the space behind Calafiori, especially down that Arsenal's left-hand side. Estevao found a little bit of space, hasn't he, down that right-hand side on a couple of occasions.
And Saka just edging the early possession. 20 minutes in, Bukayo Saka drifting in. And again by Caicedo.
Really good pressure. Chelsea. We should have said congratulations, Caicedo. Those moments just as important. You know, there's space at the apples on that left-hand side for Arsenal, but Caicedo read it brilliantly.
That's Chealse. James dropping in alongside him. Fourth time this season he started in a midfield role, but he's back doing his defensive duties primarily at the moment.
Interesting about sprints, you know, that Fernandes is third in that stat for Chelsea with 3 sprints, and he hasn't really got on the board. João Pedro's had a couple of balls from Esteban, but off the ball, Fernandes is really good at making that off the ball run. We haven't seen him, you know, fed the ball in that final third yet. And just watch out for his runs into the box, and Arsenal have to be aware of. Looking at Caicedo's touch map, mostly in his own half. That's because he's been asked to do that defensive job against Eze. He's not going to be getting forward as much. That's going to be down to Reece James or Gusto when he goes into midfield. And Fernandes has just made that run I talked about.
He's on the end of it. Across came Timber, importantly, to stop him. Might have hurt himself in the process there, Julian Timber. That was a crucial contribution.
It was a terrific challenge, wasn't it? And he times that run perfectly. You know, João Pedro comes really deep and he gets in between, I think, Timber and Ross.
On the clone at a rich vein of form. He's their other joint top goal scorer actually this season.
I mean, you know, when he first came to Chelsea, we all kind of judged him as a midfield player, but he's an attacking midfield player, and he's been given that license with Caicedo behind it, and now Reece James on this occasion to do what he's really good at. And let's get beyond the
eu thấy rồi.
Interesting to see how the dynamic alters once Cole Palmer returns to the starting lineup.
Yeah, it's totally different dynamic. A lot of weapons to have off the bench. Really good press from Chelsea again now to win the trophy one that Arsenal not happy with. But their press has been excellent. Man for man at the back. And it allows the front players to go as tight as they can. In this case, it's João Pedro holding good possession for the attacking players.
Pressure resulting in 6 turnovers so far. A feature of the Chelsea performance.
Let's have a look at the average positions again down in the right-hand corner. And yeah, it's fairly high. It's got the very deep. Arsenal had control in terms of territory. Gets right on top of Eze.
Yes.
Who had to continue his run.
You see what they're trying to do. As soon as they win the ball, they are going to play forward and get runners going forward. I want to exploit this Arsenal defence. This is the challenge from Julian Timber. And he gets across, and it's a brilliant challenge. And he times it perfectly.
What a season he is having. Julian Timber at the back for Arsenal in attack, but also doing the day job in situations like that so impressively.
Exactly. Caicedo wins the ball high at the pitch until you get good possession. Arsenal a little bit disarray.
Gusto to Esteban, 3 and blue in the penalty area. Still with Esteban, but it's too close to David Raya, able to clutch that one gratefully.
Hasn't quite come off for Esteban as yet, has it? But he's got plenty of the ball these last 5 minutes. There's a Fernandes playing in that longer term position to be aware that Cole Palmer is fit again. A different dynamic to the Chelsea side, but I'm sure Enzo West will be trying to find get his place in the team again.
Available for the first time since the end of September after injury. Martinelli. Standing his ground to shepherd that out of play.
I'm talking about the pretty much changed position for Martinelli. He's really quite narrow, isn't he? And so they wanted to get him in the game as a centre forward. And you know what? When I first saw him play as a young man, that's the position he played in. He didn't play wide, played as a centre forward. And so Arsenal hasn't quite come off them. He haven't got Martinelli into the game, they've got Eze into the game as they look like in this first 25 minutes.
So the Wendy going back to David Raya. They did score in this fixture here last season, a 1-1 draw when the sides last met at Stamford Bridge a year ago. As they're going down. Too much pressure applied by Caicedo on that occasion.
I'm surprised he didn't pick up the yellow card for that. He gets away with that. As they're not happy. They'll be a bit delighted to see Caicedo pick up the yellow card, but he's going to follow him all over the pitch today. And the West sees that as a key battle.
She's clear, isn't it, in these early exchanges? That's the one shot on target in the game so far from the Gunners. Their only shot of the game actually so far.
The last 3 people from Chelsea. They played a big part in that part of the ball down that right-hand side.
Soto is on the receiving end. Marino, the player penalised.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Marino does. He supplements that Arsenal midfield, and maybe that's why Martinelli's getting more now and trying to be the highest Arsenal player up the pitch to allow Marino to drop a little bit deeper. The possession stats slowly just coming Chelsea's way. They went to 56% for Arsenal early on the game, now 51%. So it's Chelsea who just had control in this last 10 minutes or so.
Goalkeeper Robert Sanchez goes longer here. Calafiori meets it though. It's out here by Declan Rice, facing his own goal. Mosquera.
A touch back with João Pedro. Again, plenty of touches in that Arsenal have. Not one in their boxes yet, but he won't be too concerned by that because he knows that Fernandes can get beyond him. Compare that to Marino. Again, no touches in the opposition box.
There's Reece James here. Out comes another card. Although Calafiori this time, that's the third Arsenal player booked already.
It's 4 yellow cards all in all. That could be the highest stat at the end of the game if you're not careful. And it is a booking as well. Doesn't matter what it is. It's cynical for Calafiori.
After their back four, and Zubimendi just in front of it, already on yellow cards. That's the midway point of this first half.
It's a difficult angle. Two players, I mean, Reece James is brilliant from this angle, but the next one I think will be the preferred one.
The captain will leave it for Pedro Neto to swing it in towards Fofana, who was up there.
Well done.
Pedro to keep this in play. And you return it. Those in blue waiting in the middle. Fury's with him.
Left him one-on-one, Calafiori, because they back him. So
nice.
Often teams go out there, get two out there. They left Calafiori because they backed him to deal with it, and he did brilliantly.
He did deal with it. You had Chelsea's frustration there. So finely balanced, though, as I guess we suspected it might be. Arsenal have proven in the Premier League this season they can be patient when they need to be. Controlled periods of the game, but Chelsea proving their equals thus far.
Look at that. The freshest result in turnovers. Pedro 5. He's had 30 impressive, and 5 of his opening turnovers. Mourinho's around the double figures as well. He hasn't resulted in turnovers. Possession 48 to 52%. 3 attempts for Chelsea, only 1 for Arsenal.
And so important in the performance so far, hasn't he, Chealse Pedro, despite not yet getting an opportunity of his own. His pressing has made a big difference. And he does have previous against Arsenal. Scored in both the Brighton's goals home and away against the Gunners. This season. The stat there involving Gabriel Martinelli. Fewest touches so far.
Only 6, so let's look at his so now. And as I said, Calafiori's giving the width, but he's making plenty of runs in behind. And look at his reward.
Tyler being kept busy. No great surprise in that.
Two managers always just gesticulating on the side. They're both out of their technical areas as well. It's a tough one for the fourth official today.
They're also being kept busy down there. Has the job of marshalling there. Timber putting the pressure by Pedro Neto. Chinaba. Towards Enzo Fernandez, gets the flick on. João Pedro away from Nketiah, held him off. Still has it here. And he had support on either side. He was looking for Enzo Fernandez, couldn't find him with precision, but Pedro Neto may still yet make something of this. Enzo Fernandez again. And he goes down up against Timber. And that's a frustrating couple of moments really for Enzo Fernandez.
Very frustrating. I wonder about João Pedro did pull the trigger on the edge of the box, wanted to beat Calafiori again. I mean, that's definitely a foul for me. Enzo Fernandez was doing Timber, just put his arm out to make sure he didn't go anywhere. It's, again, a good press from Chelsea and Arsenal put under pressure.
Neto. Forward Fernandez. Is up. There was a chance for it.
Yes, it was, and it's all about pressure. It's a nice little flip off from Fernandez and Captain just caught on his heels. Let's pull the trigger now, but he actually controls it between his legs, allows Calafield to come back. And the danger is averted by Arsenal. Did you see as he gets on here, his first touch takes it between his legs, and then he can't get a shot off. I mean, he could even toe plug it if he wanted to. And allows Arsenal players to get back in good defensive positions.
Very quick to do so, but that was a chance for Chelsea. And in the context of what we've seen so far, a big one.
It is. Look at the stats in terms of passes. Arsenal just hitting that one, but Chelsea passes between the lines. They've got Reece James and Gusto in between the lines on a couple of occasions, and now they're exploiting their progressive passes. And they'll be 12 in behind that Arsenal backline.
Fury forward, first time forward. Bukayo Saka. Fury had continued his run. Fernandez able to clear though, and do rather more than that. He's found Malo Gusto, got Estevao outside of him. Scoring appear to Encampio.
Arezzo.
Estevao, Enzo Fernandez.
Wow, 100 kilometers per hour.
He's got turned. Arsenal just backed off it. He's got a pass from Estevao just a little bit behind Fernandez. He wants to drag it back on himself to get it on target. And couldn't get the pace in the direction that he wanted. But there he is, Gusto in between that back line and that midfield. And then Estevao just comes inside. He just plays it back. Just kind of stretching behind him to kind of whip it round on target and can't get the power that I talked about.
Relatively routine for Raya in the end, but Chelsea will take heart from the creation of the opportunity.
Good press again from Chelsea, but Arsenal have the confidence again to play out a big tight press. Can they find the spare man? No.
Again, that away straight to Caicedo. This is João Pedro. Finds himself outnumbered by those in red on the edge of the box, and it's Timber who comes clear with it.
Swice is hesitating here, so the box João Pedro gets the opportunity. I think Guerrero's already been booked. Just screaming for him to get out of the car.
He's really fine line right now, isn't he? There's 3 yellows inside the opening half an hour of a Premier League game.
So entertaining might make it difficult for himself going to so many yellow cards so early. Because every time there's a tackle now in this derby, which there'll be plenty of, both sides will be screaming for another card to be brandished. You know, it's definitely another foul. But not every foul is a yellow card.
You won't get away with too many more. Problems for Cucurella, who has been one of Chelsea's standout performers really this season, one of the leaders in the dressing room.
Yeah, he's been absolutely terrific. Look at that stat, touching the final third now turned around. Chelsea 28 to Arsenal 17. Not only dominated possession, but into some good situations now. Pedro can take advantage of the last couple.
Bukayo Saka. Timber. Wheeler again. Himself as an option. He and Caicedo are both stayed down after that Arsenal play on. Eza funding Martinelli. Calafiori had made the run. Martinelli might get another go, but both players are still in trouble here, which is why the referee will step in.
Caicedo is a real problem there, and I think he's gone down to kind of just take the attention away from the challenge. I'd like to see that one again because I thought he knew it caused Mourinho a problem and then went down a little bit later. And, good to see this again.
Well, VAR are having a look at this. John Brooks in the booth today, looking at possible serious foul play. This should tell us more. Oh yeah, he's going to be in trouble looking at that, isn't he, Caicedo?
Exactly that. It's high, and then you see he just looks at the referee and he knows he's in trouble, and that's why he rolls around. It's a bad challenge. It's a bad challenge.
This the reaction on the Arsenal bench to the replay. Mikel Merino still receiving treatment. Mikel Arteta issuing instruction. The VAR check is ongoing, as is the treatment to Moises Caicedo. But one way or another, he might not be able to continue.
Yeah. You can always tell from the players' reaction after a challenge. You see, as soon as he made the challenge, he looked to the referee. and then he decided he was gonna go down. Mourinho was the one who was on the end of that. And he's the one who's I think is in real trouble there.
Taylor still waiting for further word from John Brooks. He's just told him to hold things up here whilst they check it. Whilst the treatment to the two players goes on as well. This is a major moment, isn't it, in the game?
It is. I'd be very surprised if Taylor's asking for Boston to have a look at this challenge. I said, we know he puts himself about from my perspective. I think he's gone a step too far there, and I think he's in real trouble.
He's shown in the yellow card, but I think there is the possibility this may yet be upgraded to be red. Actually, Taylor's shown the yellow, but John Brooks is recommending that he comes across to the monitor and reviews this. As he will do here. So VAR think there should be a red.
Yeah, I have to agree. I saw it once, and I could tell from the reaction of the guy saying he knew he was in trouble as soon as he made the challenge. Well, you won't tell from this angle, but from the closer angle, you'll see.
Oh, foul ስለሰራ ቀይ ካርድን ምክንያቱም ቅድም ፋውል
This is what Anthony Taylor is being shown right now. John Brooks, the VAR is agreeing Leroy with yourself. They think that Moses Caicedo has gone down maybe after committing the challenge.
Yeah, you can see he looks around. He knows what he's done. And he knows he's in trouble. He tries to deflect attention by going down. He's not hurting that challenge for me.
Here comes the verdict.
Yeah.
After review,
Chelsea
25 makes a challenge with excessive force against the opponent. Therefore, my final decision is red card.
Red card! Yes! ይገባል ግን ሶስተኛ ያለፈ በዛው ወጣ ተቆርጣል በዛው ትችላለህ እንዲያችንም መግባት አስወጣው
And that's going to change Enzo Maresco's plans now, big time. He was doing the job on Enzo. He's got overzealous. And be interesting to see what he does with 10 men. He went down to 10 men earlier on in the season at Old Trafford, Enzo Maresco, and we felt he made a few mistakes. He learned from that. And he navigate his side through to half-time with the score still at 0-0. But this is a massive nail advantage to us for Chelsea to lose their best. Rightly so. The correct decision by Anthony Taylor, and the more you see it, the worse it gets.
We highlighted at the start how key Caicedo could be in that battle with Declan Rice in midfield, but Caicedo off here. The fourth red card that Chelsea have had in the Premier League this season already.
It's a really good point, Phil. All those red cards are the points,
Chelsea not get carded
actually celebrated. But now, how do they navigate their way in the final minutes of this first half? It's key, and it's about managing the moment. This is a massive advantage for Arsenal, who's doing the job on Eze. Eze hadn't had a kick. I'm sure Arsenal try and get him into the game now.
He starts from the throw because the free kick wasn't initially given at the time. So Arsenal are able to launch this into the penalty area. Heading it away. Towards the final five of the first half, although of course after the lengthy stoppage that we've just had for that review, there will be plenty more beyond the 45.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we expect the possession stats to really go in Arsenal's favour. They'll start moving the ball. That's close total passes. They're an experienced side. They know how to work the spare man. They keep winning possession back and keeping the ball. Try and be nice and patient. Not allow Arsenal Chelsea to get any sort of possession.
Chelsea here with Trevor Chalobah on the receiving end. And the yellow card, and Arsenal have to be careful, don't they, that the numbers don't get evened out quickly here.
Absolutely, this Stamford Bridge crowd will be baying for for the numbers to be evened out. It's a high elbow from Capia. And you know what? That's one that might be reviewed as well. He's not looking at Chalobah, but his arm is up and his elbow does catch him. But Anthony Taylor feels like he's seen that. He's got to be careful from an Arsenal perspective.
Caution for Capia, 3 of the back 4 on a yellow. Now that has been confirmed by John Brooks, the VAR. Reckless use of the arm, but a yellow card. Player making only his second Premier League start, of course.
Yeah, you see, Arteta just putting his fingers to his head. Just use your heads now. These moments are really important for the referee not to even up the game. You try at every opportunity, not only to put pressure on the referee, but just to break the game up, not to allow Arsenal to get into any sort of momentum in terms of their possession.
Disciplinary issues coming back to Costanzo Maresca. Malo Gusto at Nottingham Forest, Chalobah against Brighton, Robert Sanchez at Manchester United, and now Moises Caicedo here against Arsenal, all sent off in this division this season.
It's a really good point, Phil, because in the big games, you have to keep your head. It's about playing to the fine line. We know about Caicedo, we know how he loves to make a challenge, but he's overstepped the line on this occasion, and he knows now he's missing his important player from a defensive perspective, and how he's got to deal with that.
Chalobah still down after this.
He's got quite a big lump on that cheek. And, I certainly caught high.
3 centre backs actually on the bench in Tosin Paddy. They attempt to navigate the changing circumstances of the contest as well.
Absolutely, there'll be plenty of extra time in this first half. It could be 6, 7, 8 minutes. I feel. I'm not very happy about the challenge. Reece James, the captain, having a chat with the referee. Do you see as he gets up, you see the lump on his face?
He doesn't really necessarily need to point it out, does he? It's an obvious one. That's the damage done, he says.
But he's got his eyes only on the ball, which is why he's got away with it. If he had looked at Chalobah before he's jumped and then he is targeting him, he's using his arm out as a lever. Yeah, it's unfortunate Chalobah, but I have to agree with that being the yellow card.
Oscar, Calafiori and Zubimendi on yellows. It's the red for Caicedo that could be so costly. His first red card in the Premier League in appearance number 130.
I'm amazing. Amazing. It shows how much he's played on the line. And the first time he stepped over the line. It was in this family derby where they're picking their wits against the top team in the Premier League.
Chelsea's first task, of course, will be to get to half-time and then reassess at 0-0. One of the most reds, as you can see, in a single season for a decade for Chelsea. We're not yet in December.
No, we're not. You see the change of formation there for Chelsea now. It's 4-4-1. Pedro at the top of that now. Esteban and Neto have to tuck in now and make it a very narrow for try and make Chelsea as compact as possible.
By Saka towards Timber. Chalobah quickly across the closing down.
Right, let's have a look at it. Corner profile. Arsenal's is impressive. 87% crossed into the box, 90% in swinging. Attention corners first with 33. Goals from corners first with 8. Most shots from corners. Julian Timber with 5.
Until the last minute of the first 45 for them to win the first corner kick off the game. Let's see what Arsenal can do with this one then. You may well have an idea of what's coming, but stopping it, as we've seen, is so problematic for the opposition. So comfortable, as it turned out, for Robert Sanchez.
A good kick as well.
Easy.
It's a counter attack for Chelsea.
In infield, finding Malo Gusto. Esteban wide. Esteban trying to whip it in, but Declan Rice was in the way.
And you just feel with 10 men now, Chelsea got to just show a little bit of experience, a little to get just now try and keep the ball as much as possible, because when they lose it like this, they'll be successful to the counter attack.
Good challenge from Rice to take it
One
away
minute
from
to
Pedro
choice.
Neto.
What is my mom's
Five
take?
additional minutes at the end of the half.
Mom's
Rice
take
has
at
continued
Murray.
his run here. Finds Martinelli. Good save, Sanchez. Readjusted.
Here Martinelli, here Martinelli.
It's a magnificent save. And it all comes from Chelsea.
Look,
One
good
or
night,
two,
is it?
10 plays been defended for a period of time. A beautiful ball from Declan Rice. I thought this was going to creep in. Robert Sanchez, all his weight is on his other foot. He's on his left foot. He just adjusts. And it's a terrific save.
Brilliantly. Now at the other end, Esteban. Reece James falls favourably for him. As a hit, Hincapié is there to block it. Now Malo Gusto. Not necessarily no Chelsea down to 10 just at the moment.
No, they still wanted to attack. They just want to read the game now. When they get a chance, it's to keep the ball away from Arsenal. Saw what just happened on the counter attack. So in Arsenal, they got their best opportunity. Now they want to see out this next 4 minutes.
Okay,
Well, might have been a bit more than 5 actually. Chelsea, I was going to say, would be relieved to get in at 0-0 and reassess, but they're not necessarily settling for that right now.
No, they're not. They're still in attack mode. And, 2 attempts from Arsenal, both of them on target. 4 from Chelsea, only 1 on target.
Supermendi comes all the way through to him. Reno ahead of him. Correa will reach that ahead of Martinelli, but can any clear straight his touch is heavy, so Enzo Fernandez able to clear. He's just reaching it ahead of Esteban as he needed to.
Yeah, he's still stretched, Chelsea, at the moment. They're still trying to play forward, and it's leaving them a little bit stretched. But now they've managed to get behind the ball, but they're blowing a little bit. And as they gets on the ball, really for the first time for a while.
In contrast to a week ago, he's been on the periphery today, hasn't he, so far? Chiesa. Fury will force it forward.
Ball number 2 from the opposite side. Declan Rice will make his way out. We know what a threat they are. The first one, Robert Sanchez dealt with very well. Goodbye, Saka.
22 Premier League goals scored from corners since the start of last season for Arsenal. He's going across to take this one.
A bit massive, and there's the cross people there with the Hincapié. Superman is all on his own. I suggest that Esteban should maybe just go across one because Zubimendi is spare set for goal. He's a bigger threat than Bukayo Saka.
Lurking outside the area as well. There's also a lot of movement in the middle. That's where it goes, but again, it goes straight to Robert Sanchez. Opts to punch it clear this time. Martinelli couldn't quite capitalise. So here's Pedro Neto for Chelsea. There's that nice double up on him.
Did really well.
Still Jones.
Possession of the ball.
James, a little bit of room in which to work initially. Arsenal have been very quick to get players back behind the ball. There's Pedro Neto.
That's
with him. Can't let the cross from coming in though. Whipped it really menacingly. Here's Malo Gusto to try and return it. Just in the middle, and Saka will get to it ahead of Cucurella.
Cross from Neto. Inches away from the head of Esteban.
Bravo, Saka.
Saka.
Ate.
From Cucurella. They go to David Raya. She's still a threat. And they have been ever since they went down to 10.
They certainly are. As I said, still in attack mode, and that was a really good opportunity. Pedro Neto, first holding the ball up to allow Chelsea to have possession, and a terrific cross on that right-hand side. And Esteban just got in the box.
Forward.
Stretch those neck muscles to get on the end of it.
That's for the 5 additional minutes here. A little bit of battles between Reece James and Mikel Merino. Chelsea free kick.
Yeah, I thought that Arsenal would get away with them in terms of possession. They're still only at 55% to that Chelsea's 45%. And as you can see, the Chelsea fans get behind this Chelsea side. They've been really still forceful, even though they're down to 10 men.
That's the main creative threat so far. 3 chances that he has fashioned. Nobody else more than one. For João Pedro back to goal. Enzo Fernandez into it. Final seconds of the half here.
More time.
With Mosquera, but he's still
Mosquera. Kallaga more time. Bravo. Foul.
Mosquera goes down right on the whistle. ends the first half in acrimony, which has been something of the story of the half, really.
It certainly has. I think just the early catches Mosquera in the face. Yeah, it's just the cheating.
Yeah, checked and cleared it already, no violent conduct. Mosquera making more of that maybe than the officials felt that there was. It was likely to be a difficult derby day for Anthony Taylor, and so it has proved. The major moment of the half, maybe the McArthur Moises Caicedo big save from Robert Sanchez to keep the 10 of Chelsea on terms. They have continued to pose a threat of their own, though, and in terms of the scoreline, there's nothing in it. the area that they've
Taraf
to
sınır
address.
temellisenar. Cevap temellisenar.
Yeah, this is the chance for Chelsea to get a quality ball into that Arsenal box. I suggest with Chelsea, it's not about first contact, but the second ball. Can they get on that second ball?
Amta.
Can they make something of it?
Neto, Reece James standing over
That's a
for
gift too.
Chelsea.
Nabız atamaz.
Also in for
Nagmamız
the
atın.
penalty area, it will be James who takes it right.
Ataraya. Uşa ne? Evet. Temin ne kabadın bagitası.
Gets that back on target. And that was there. He's not in a great position. Has to make a save going back to his own goal. Might not have been on target, but David Raya doesn't know that.
10 target tarıldım.
So intervened, didn't he? Here's the Chelsea corner. It's in there.
Uşa.
Just over 2 minutes into the second half. Chelsea take the lead in the derby, and it's Trevor Chalobah.
Liga var. Liga var.
It's a terrific touch by Chalobah near post. The only place he can score is at that far post. It's the quality of the delivery.
የራያ ጥፋት ነው። ባይወጣ እኮ እንደዚህ አይመጣም ነበረ እንዴ። ለምን ኮርና ያሰጠው? መውጣቱ እኮ ነው። ሌው አሁን ቦታውን አልያዘም። አልዘለልም ሁላ በእናትህ። ወይኔ በይዝጊ
That's a moment that might prove for Enzo Maresca and his side. They have something to work with now. They have something to hold on to now. That's the third goal of the season already from centre back for Trevor Chalobah.
See what it means to. You see the mark on the side of his face is that he's not stopped it. A lot of players will be thinking, oh, they come off, he's not coming off in this game, and now he's had a massive impact in this derby, in this London derby. And as you said, Chelsea have got something to protect.
Set piece goal of their Premier League season. Talked about Arsenal's strength in those situations. Chelsea not far behind them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you just think about, to Arsenal fans, if you think about Saliba and Gabriel,
Kaza
they're on the pitch, with those two players, but they're not here. And Arsenal fans will say to Mosquera and Capia, delighted that they're there as replacements, but Chelsea just exploited a situation where Arsenal don't usually get done.
The 7th goal that Arsenal have conceded in the Premier League all season, and it's their 13th fixture. It does stay like this, their lead at the top will be down to just 3 points. Chelsea their nearest challengers, but that's a big hit. Missed Xhaka for Arsenal, didn't quite catch him as intended though. The challenge certainly has been laid down to the leaders now.
It certainly has, and that's the important moment there for Robert Sanchez. Bukayo Saka drives on his left foot, but he does brilliantly to make sure this doesn't go off the corner, because Arsenal will be looking to strike back very quickly to get some momentum. I don't know if it does go over or not. It hasn't been given. Yeah, it does.
Corner.
Quite the whole of the ball over the line. It was close, wasn't it?
It was close. Now I expect Arsenal to take control of possession. They would have expected that. A goal down, start this second half. I'm just wondering with the players on the bench, like of Gyökeres and Odegaard in this situation, I wonder if Mikel Arteta just think they're making those changes.
Two options for him. Trying to find a way back into this. There's Declan Rice. Lost to Liverpool in the opening month of the season, their only defeat so far. Capia, Martinelli wider.
That's a good position now. Enzo Fernandez is now put as a holding midfield player next to Reece James.
For Sanchez, Capia directed towards its target, and Arsenal haven't quite got started in this second half yet. They've been, to a certain extent, knocked out of their stride.
That's going to be.
The generals had the most touches for Chelsea with 28 touches. But one most important one was his last touch, was that terrific flick to give Chelsea the lead. I think on top of it, if you've got him in your fantasy team as well, you'd be delighted that he's in. I'm not sure many people will have, but if you have, you'll be delighted.
Saka. If they can hold on to the clean sheet as well, that points haul will only grow.
Exactly. But Chelsea, they can't just defend, because if you just defend against this Arsenal side, they'll find a way. I did say that they have to try and keep a clean sheet, I feel, to get something out of this game. But what they've done since the sending off of Caicedo is that they're taking every opportunity to try and get forward. Now, that might be few and far between, and still got to try and take those opportunities.
Stoppage here, disrupting the rhythm of the game. Might be part of the Chelsea plan as well, but they won't want his injuries to key players, particularly Enzo Fernandez. He really is key right now.
He certainly is key, especially with the change of his role. They'll have to strip it off. And that's maybe because for his pace at the top of the pitch. We know that João Pedro wants to come deep. He's going for three of his quickest players at the top end of the pitch to kind of maybe have that threat on the turnover of possession.
And the indication is that it will be João Pedro making way for that shortly. We'll have it in the meantime with Mosquera, now Saka. Mosquera again.
Yeah, because Enzo Mosquera's feeling that if you allow Arsenal to have possession, not have a way of getting out, you see the position of João Pedro, it's a good position to be, but when they win the ball, he hasn't got the pace to get up and then behind. Liam Black will take up exactly the same position, but when they win the ball, he'll stretch his legs. He's a really good athlete. He's lightning quick as well, and they'll want to utilise that pace.
Subamendi with everything ahead of him. Kayo Saka.
I say they're still stopping big interceptions, even though he's on the other pitch with 38 minutes.
He's dominated in this season, isn't it? That one comes in and is gathered up by Sanchez. James, not going to keep the rhythm. The initial challenge couldn't quite keep his feet though. Wins the free kick. And another card.
He's saying stuff really well because he's put tactical fouls. So often teams get away with those sorts of fouls and the referees give him a chance. But this is cynical from Lewis Kelly. He knows as a look at the counter attack. That's a 4v3 for Chelsea. From really promising play from Robert Sanchez, just rolling the ball out to Reece James, and he puts a stop to that, and that's a deserved yellow card.
Lewis Kelly came on at half time for Calafiori, who had already been cautioned in that position. Now Lewis Kelly goes into the book as well. João Pedro does make way for Delap in this Chelsea change. Liam Delap, who's got his first goal of the season in the Champions League here against Barcelona on Tuesday.
Yeah, it looks like he's back to full fitness. He'll start running the channels and just occupy Mosquera and Capia at the heart of that Arsenal defence. A little bit more than João Pedro would have done.
To end the run of 12 Premier League appearances without a goal. It's the end of his time in Ipswich and the start of his Chelsea career.
Now look at progressive passing. That was something that Chelsea need to really up their progressive passes. You just saw there the space was sometimes those crosses work out. The space was in front for Chelsea to counter attack for Robert Sanchez and Reece James winning that free kick, but the space is going to be behind this Arsenal backline.
He's trying to locate it here. It's crossfield through Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho, Rice is the defender with him. Good enough to stop him.
Good pass from Reece James. But you saw, as soon as they won the ball, that man behind down his right hand side, Garnacho behind down that left hand side, and all of a sudden Arsenal on the back foot.
See what Chelsea can do from the corner kicks. An opportunity for them here.
And can they do it again? The delivery from Reece James was fantastic for the goal. 2 corners apiece so far. There's back the movement. And Chalobah and Fofana in around the penalty spot. Where they're going to end up? They're going to attack that near post again.
They scored from their first one. Reece James to take their second one. That was more comfortably dealt with by Rice. And as far as Garnacho, James to try again. Look again a bit more menacingly this time, maybe. Fofana was still up there from the back. Can't quite make it count. Out though by Malo Gusto to win the ball back for those in blue.
They did it well. It was Neto and Warman there last minute. They dealt with the pace of Marseille. That's why he's there. Neto, but defended like he's been defended for many years. He's not a natural defender as well.
Neto, I think is readying changes here. Nani Madueke signed from Chelsea in the summer, and the club captain Martin Odegaard on his way back from a knee injury. He's going to be introduced.
No surprise, yeah. Martin Odegaard in terms of the keep possession at the moment. Arsenal going from side to side. Martinelli has been ineffective. I think he's had the fewest touches of the Arsenal player on the pitch so far. Madueke is back from injury, starting off in 6 late before Dini in an after shirt. And we'd be delighted to see him back. And Zubimendi, no need for a holding midfield player. You've got a spare man. So I think the key is going to be Martin Odegaard. He'll get on the ball in those little pockets of space, which will cause the Chelsea backline a few more problems than they have done up to now.
He's come back off the bench against Bayern, a game in which Madueke scored his first Arsenal goal on Wednesday night.
Odegaard mata.
Has had no look at all.
He's mata.
Has a couple of shoulder problems and an unrelated knee injury.
This is fully fit with this one. It's True Palace. They're trying to see the Arsenal shape now. And the other player we've not mentioned a lot is Eberchieta. Since Caicedo's gone off. I haven't managed to get him on the ball as much. Saka.
Mana
Position Odegaard takes. Just a little bit higher down that right hand side.
Eşi Mosquera.
Trying to get in behind
Il
the likes
Mosquera.
of Garnacho and Enzo Fernandez in that
Copy.
space there.
Odegaard.
It can cause problems for-
Odegaard ይላል በእናት ሂድ ማዱኬ እንደ ማዱኬ Odegaard.
And again and again. Just run away from him though. Looks up for Chelsea. Can't quite pick the cap.
Yes! 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 ሚኬል ሜሪኖ ትችላለህ ትችላለህ Yes!
So ist es passiert. Er weiß natürlich, Kuboya kann jetzt nicht viel machen, ist schon gelb vorbelastet.
Nice, 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 nice,
Geht
nice.
mal zurück, macht einen Haken auf seinen linken
ይገባል ገና ይገባል
und macht dann das Perfekte. Weil, wenn der Ball auf den ersten Pfosten kommt, da ist
Geht
jeder
auch.
da, der Torwart geht rüber und er schiebt den Ball auf den zweiten Pfosten und das ist unheimlich schwierig zu verteidigen.
Performs like he does on a regular basis. Signed as a midfield player, but as a false line, been absolutely terrific. Not only the way he's playing, but with his goals, important goals, and that could be a massive goal for Arsenal tonight.
Third in his last 6 appearances in all competitions, couple of assists for him in there as well. Did get the winner against Chelsea when these sides last met at the Emirates in March, the only goal of that game. Here he's gone down here.
And Bukayo Saka's touchback, who's last touch with the assist, but Mourinho, and you can tell now, Bukayo with that early booking, it's just half a yard off him. He would want to have been tight. You see Bukayo, when he's not on the booking, get really tight to the right of Saka. He was aware they couldn't get too tight. Had another challenge where Arsenal were begging for blood, asking for a second yellow card. And now they want to get to Saka as often as possible.
easy
Okay, was looking for Enzo, it's spin out by Enzo Fernandez, and goes done out. Didn't get the free kick that he was hoping for though.
Odegaard
Arsenal now in the ascendancy.
አበላሸሃ
Odegaard looking to work it wider.
It's strange from there, but he got the ball and he actually fell down, waiting for the challenge. No one touched him. And now Chelsea right on the back foot, under pressure. Now can't get any possession. Possession stats going up 59.2% for Arsenal, just about 40%. I think in the last 10 minutes or so, it's only 23% for Chelsea. And Arsenal have a real stranglehold on the game at the moment.
It does feel like the tide has turned against the 10, hasn't it? It's had so many attacking options. 12 wins in 13 games in all competitions. Guard, Timber. Front of Marino this time, so Sanchez can come and collect.
It's just going to cross now. This time I don't get tired, just cross it early.
Skiri tamaresa.
Be aware that Chelsea got stick crosses.
The distance that Pedro Neto has covered.
Bravo, Incape.
Needed a less pitch challenge really by the time.
Remoral. Incape. ከመቼው ገብቶ ነው እንደዚህ የምትጮህበት?
You both enjoyed that.
Leads the game in that way, doesn't he? Piero Capier, described by Mikel Arteta as a warrior. Loves his intensity. Was required on that occasion.
He's got to be careful though. That yellow card, he's
on the edge.
Right on the edge. Another corner from Chelsea.
The whistle went before it reached its intended destination. In the middle, it's Odegaard who's down.
I have to say, Chelsea was also doing a lot of holding in that box as well. This time it's the father just puts Odegaard off. I think this catches him in the face. They're doing a lot of holding. You see the position of Anthony Taylor, he's got a really good eye on that as well. And they've got to be careful because if they hold on for too long, Anthony Taylor, if the move that he's in tonight, he won't be afraid to get a penalty.
Checked and cleared, so Chelsea will try again from the corner then. Near post.
I go.
Quite as intended, but it wasn't far away in the end.
But definitely nice one. They actually headed it against Kukure's head, and for a goal kick.
Flash over Stamford Bridge as the Chelsea fans try and respond as well to the changing circumstances now.
Easy.
It's looking likelier. Madueke, 2.5 years at Chelsea Blue.
Madueke.
A lot of people were surprised, didn't they? Including me. I think since he's gone to Arsenal, he stepped up his performances. So I think there's a lot of talk about why have Arsenal signed him. But I think he was aware of that. Arsenal fans said they didn't want him signed, but I thought his performances when Sack was out earlier in the season were terrific. And unfortunately for him, he picked up an injury.
He's spoken recently, hasn't he, ahead of this game, of the reception from some of the Arsenal supporters who didn't necessarily want him in the summer, but he's appeared to have won over the vast majority already. Certainly nothing like the Emirates and the energy he says he gets from the crowd when he plays there. Back on familiar territory at Stamford Bridge today. Maybe with a point to prove to Chelsea or not?
Always been something with your club. Interesting, Korea scored both Arsenal's last 2 Premier League goals against Chelsea, both big headers. He'll be looking for another one today to try and take all 3 points. It's interesting now. Arsenal's stats in terms of their runs off the ball has shot up. Chelsea's won't because they want to stay in their positions. They'll stay in their net overlap. Maybe go Neto. They'll hold their positions. But Arsenal's off the ball. Shot up. So they're moving the ball. Look how many people are in that front line. There's 6 Arsenal players across that front line now because they know that they can push those players up to keep Chelsea pushed back. And create space for the back players to move into and then try and find those little pockets of space.
Odegaard getting on the ball, looking to find that space at every opportunity since he came on. Madueke gets on the end.
Easy.
It's out by Fofana. Only in the right place to stop him, and then to charge forward as well and finds Garnacho. Garnacho is looking for Pedro Neto. Still kept the way off the Portuguese. Didn't quite work for Madueke. So Neto infield for Garnacho. It's James, Marlo Gusto.
Chelsea with this opportunity, they're trying to get players into the box. Fofana kept going, just making his way back out. Really impressive at Chelsea on the few occasions that they can attack. They're taking that opportunity to try and get players forward.
They've needed a spell like this, haven't they? Particularly at the moment. Here's Garnacho. Nearly for Malo Gusto. Skelly still with work to do.
ተቀበለው
Position there with Malo Gusto in the middle. Garnacho was one of
ኤዜ ዛሬ ኤዜ እያየ ስት
Garnacho was attempting
ልጁ
to
ተይዞ የለ እንዴ
here. Probably something for that.
So then the finally knows there's a foul away there. The team can get back into their
ማዱኪ በእናት አግባባቸው በእናት
So just wants to get the atmosphere going around the ground. It's a quite intense atmosphere around Stamford Bridge at the moment. And he knows that they're going to need the crowd's help. 24 minutes plus any extra time still to go in this game.
ኤዜ
So,
አላየውማ
they haven't quite committed to the run. So Sanchez can clear. And a compelling closing quarter. We have to come though. Premier League data zone.
ተረጋጋ ካፒ
The passing behind the back line, 13-6 now, 26, and expect all
Square
the
up.
stats to be in Arsenal's favour. But the most important one is at the top of your screen, that 1-1, and the threat that Chelsea still have on the counter attack. We're going to get it from this deep possession with all the paces introduced with Garnacho, Delacqua, the top of the pitch, the pace. They took over on this right hand side. There's good threat.
እንደዚህ ሰጥቶ
Wait, caretaker.
Madueke.
Lewis Skelly. Packing their own penalty area.
ማዱኪ
They were sold that a little short. Malo Gusto got a foot in there. They can't swat it back. Had to by Madueke. Now
Square up.
PA to
ጋይስ
Declan Rice.
ሎዲ ጋር ይዘው ኧረ
It's for Marino. Point for Eza. Marino. So this is for second.
ስኬል ናይስ
Another one against Chelsea.
ናይስ በቃ ይሄን ያርሰናል ጨዋታ
Second of the calendar year, though, but that's 2 in successive games now after ending the remarkable recent count. He set up 44 chances for teammates in between assists, remarkably.
Incredible. Our total clearances 20 for Chelsea to Arsenal's 14. And now those clearances are going to have to shoot because this is where the game's going to be played for the most part. Chelsea just holding that 18-yard line, not wanting to go any deeper. Almost as if it's a swimming pool, you don't want to fall in. They don't want to go any deeper. And I have that space between them and Robert Sanchez.
ዋራ በስመ
Balancing act for the Blues in particular right now. Knowing as well the significance of the outcome today. Defeat at the bridge, and they're 9 points adrift of the leaders.
Yeah, look at the stats still. 7 shots to Arsenal's 4, 4 shots inside the box, 2 to Arsenal. To turn to the stats in the final third, the Chelsea are still well ahead. Arsenal haven't created as much as they would have liked in this derby.
ኦዲጋርድ
Guard. This is Mikel Marino. Behind him.
በቃ የማዕዘን ምት መታ
The expense of the corner.
በቃ
It had to be a really important interception
And
for
good.
this game because that's just about a fall on the feet of Eberechi Eze. He's holding his head, Eberechi Eze, because it's just about a fall on his right foot. But just getting back, he manages to make the clearance. Now, Arsenal have the chance to impose their corner routine on this Arsenal back line.
Responding kind. Suffering some damage of their own at the other end, of course.
ወይኔ ማዱኪ አቋቋሚ ያምራል ግን ማን ይሰጣል
Eight
These
goals
Newlands
off
said that.
all been from open play in the Premier League.
ማዱኬ
Just
ትንሽ
what
ወጣ
went
በል
before this season.
ትንሽ ወደ ኋላ
Still going on. As Arsenal are looking at this
Start up,
ball,
Paul, start up.
involved in that tussle, but
ለበረኛው ሳካ
Sanchez there first.
Let them back out.
You've got to take the time. They've been defending for a long period of time. The players are just taking the breather now. And we want to try and get some possession.
Just a ball to reach ahead of his England colleague, Eza. Finds Garnacho on that far side. Timberley defending him. Garnacho though. They need to cause some trouble here, and he has support from Cucurella. Cucurella's cross, Pedro Neto rising. The Ryan not extended.
Looks like by this pass that is great.
እንዴት ሰው ጀመረለት
It's so brave enough to play at the back, Chelsea, and when they have the opportunity to get forward in numbers, then they're not be able to get any pace on that header.
Not simply sitting back defending for a point, are they? Even with 10.
ማዱኬ
Since before half time, 38 minutes in, Cancelo saw red. Positive performance for Chelsea since then.
ኦዲጋርድ አልገባኝም።
For too much though if Arsenal do score.
Saka,
They're
ያንቺ
sending
ቦታ ነው።
Saka having a go.
He's unlucky. Just picks it up in a more narrow position and just turns towards goal. It's 55 miles per hour, so he
ቦታ
gets
ነበር።
pace on this shot, but just can't keep it down to hit the target.
Shot. Leading that statistic
ንጉሱ
for Arsenal
ተመልሷል።
are going to call upon Victor
ንጉሱ
Gyökeres.
ተመልሷል።
From
ተመልሷል።
the injury. And a week on from his hat-trick heroics in the North London derby. Chealse has been on the fringes. Still relieved, I'm sure. that
ተመልሷል።
back available.
He's got in his name, as they said, switch to Marino to maybe drop into that number 10 position and just arrive in the box. Gyökeres to occupy the centre half. We know he's a really imposing figure as well, so no one's been getting balls into the box. So expect that stat with crosses into the box to go up and get it wide to Madueke and Saka and get crosses into the box for Gyökeres, Marino and Declan Rice arriving.
For the majority of the month, Victor Gyökeres, seen in the Arsenal shirt since coming off at half-time, having scored at Burnley
ደስ አለ?
in the first day of the
ደስ
festival.
አለ? መስጣት
It's been shared sideline thing since then, so a slightly different role now for Marino, who's still very much in the thick of things.
Yeah, it'll always be more dangerous coming from a deeper position arriving in the box, you know, and obviously great header for the first ball. But you see him now, just on the left-hand side of the picture, just slightly deeper of Gyökeres. So now Reece James is going to have a problem, and they'll try and deal with Reece James, because when they put the ball out to Reece James on the edge of the box, he's created real problems. So he'll be asked to stop Reece James just those progressive passes to get the likes of Neto in at the top end of the pitch.
It's been Chelsea's outball, really, hasn't it? More
ማድዌ አረ ማድዌ አረ በስመ አብ። እዚህ ጋር ትይዝብኛለህ። እዚህ ጋር አረ ነውር ነው።
Here's Madueke. To Pedro Neto. This comes in despite Augusto sliding into the challenge as well. Still hasn't been cleared though. This is Rice.
Saka
Looking for Saka.
ምንድን ነው?
And finding him. Saka not quite finding the touch that he needed.
Unbelievable ball from Declan Rice. Beautifully weighted ball. And I think Saka should do better. Just stretches for it. Look at those three Arsenal players all on the far post, unopposed. If you can get that across that 6-yard line, it's a simple tapping for an Arsenal shirt.
Gets the flick on, but too far in front of Pedro Neto.
Stats 341 total passes, 222, and that's going to keep going up and up. And Chelsea going to keep getting a little bit deeper, a little bit earlier, and Arsenal maybe get close to their goal.
Going up, hasn't it, throughout the second half? It's understandable is the amount of Arsenal possession. They make this pressure pay with another one to complete the turnaround in its entirety. Here is Bukayo Saka. Still going, but nothing happening a little bit this time.
Really well.
Saka.
As soon as Bukayo shows it inside, all the Chelsea backline gets into the 18-yard box, and there's nowhere then for the Arsenal attackers to run, and that's why Saka just puts that ball out of play, really well drilled. When you show someone inside, make sure you make that edge of the box and give them no space to play the ball into.
What is how it finished when they last met at Stamford Bridge a year ago. Arsenal's 1-0 win at the Emirates, extended their unbeaten sequence against Chelsea to 7 Premier League matches. Lost any of their last 6 here in West London at the home of their rivals either.
With that touching final third, Neto 12, Pedro Esteban, both on 8 and 7.
Wow, nice.
And they won't be getting too many. Once again, well cut out. Again, forward runners from Arsenal. They can't find that pass through that Chelsea backline.
An attempt to do so, wasn't it, from Odegaard, looking to slip it through towards Saka. And Chealse coming clear with it. And that's who required at the end of it, though.
Yeah, but you can see that's the message they've been given. When you get forward, try and play it through. Yeah, they tried it on this side, that tried it for Neto. And Neto would have been told just run in behind. Because even if you run in behind and you don't win the ball, what do? You get a throw or you get a corner. You know, you play to feet in that final third, and you get the ball taken off. So that's from their manager.
Quite as accurate with those balls in there in the final third. There's Arsenal, both of them trying to get in behind the back line frequently.
He's looking at Declan Rice touch.
No
touches in Chelsea's box. He's gone to be Now the holding midfield player bit with down Zubimendi's
ኧረ
one.
ተቀበሉት።
And you know, I just feel that Declan Rice can impose himself on the game, getting forward as well. And, you know, he's such a big figure, and he can score a goal as well.
Two bags that continue this run. To reach Stanley, Wesley Fofana in the way. We're going through the gears.
Yeah, and that's the first time I've seen Julian Timber get on the ball in that final third. It's a really important challenge from Fofana. He gets the decision. Does it come off Timber? Yes, it does. Good decision from the officials. And good defending for Fofana.
Huh?
We'll be looking to get a little forward maybe from fullback the longer this goes on. Interesting to see how Arsenal approach it as well. As things stand, they will have a 5-point lead over Manchester City, 13 games into the season. Chelsea will be a point further back, level on 24 points with Aston Villa in fourth. Arsenal will want the win, but how much are they going to risk losing the point that they have? I know the odds are in their favour numerically.
Yeah, I think, you know, they know there's plenty of time left in this game, and they have to keep playing. Stop giving away stupid free kicks to kill the game like that. That's going away from goal. But you know, this is an experienced Arsenal side. They won't panic. You know, they won't throw men forward. You know, Declan Rice has now become that holding player, so he'll fill any holes or try to fill any holes which were left by players going forward. So they'll make sure they want to keep it secure and not allow Chelsea to get a second goal.
Position for the Blues from the free kick here. Chalobah both up from centre back, trying to make their presence felt right on the edge of the penalty area. So await the delivery. Fernandez underneath it. Fofana had a bit of a miscue as it fell his way briefly.
He did. He put himself up against Luis Skelly, who's just come off Calafiori.
Here's the lad. Willing to strike it with power. How to make the save goes right.
አንተ ሰራህ በስንት ጊዜ ስራ ሰራህ ራያ?
The first head is one, first contact by Enzo Fernandez. They win the second ball as well.
Saka.
At the other end came Arsenal with Saka. That was always rising.
Yeah, it's getting a lot more of the ball, isn't it? From Saka. A bit disappointed. A little bit of an argument, Enzo. Fernandez and David Raya.
So it continues.
ምን አውቁት እዛው
He's got plenty to say himself, Enzo Fernandez. But you see that this game, the heat of this game, both sides realise just how much is on it. In terms of it being a derby, just in terms of the Premier League title race as well. There's the effort for Fowler, doesn't quite catch it. Mourinho's back defending well.
Much at stake, even at this stage. Between two capital clubs who met 5 times actually in cup finals this century alone. They're used to scrapping it out for silverware.
I'll just be really pleased that the Arsenal just getting close to the age of mid, got above 60% possession, had another free kick in the final third. That's why they're throwing to it in the final third where they can take possession of the ball. And so far, you know, since they conceded the goal, they've managed the game very well.
They have. I think Fernandez going down initially and then Timber. He's also taken a tumble. He's the one that gets the free kick. He's for pin back. They want to be up the other end.
Look at 34 runs in the box to Chelsea 14. And that's what they'll be looking, as I said, get the ball wide, and plenty of runs into the box from those Mourinho. Even Odegaard is coming in around the penalty spot.
He's actually talked about his passing, more duels one than any other player in the game as well now. All-round shift that he's put in. Here is Nolly Madueke. Arsenal didn't have the time or space to get his shot away. He's reaching it just ahead of Delap on halfway.
That's what he's there for, so filling those holes. Arteta's put him in there. He knows he'll be totally aware of what's going on behind him.
Here's Skelly. James. Skelly, who hasn't been getting the game time in the Premier League. He was leaked actually with interest from Chelsea, I saw the other day. Maybe the timing of this fixture important in that story, but it's all carrying on, isn't it? Challenges still flying in
He is. And Rich James has been terrific in that midfield game. There's a foul, but he tries to play an advantage out in Taylor because he sees the counter attack is on. If James can deliver that ball into Garnacho, he brings it back for the free kick onto that.
We know, having then caught Rich James. A more central role than he has been at the heart of everything for Chelsea.
Yeah, just see, look at the pitch back with 10 men. And not trying to stretch the game out, how slowly they're coming forward, keeping it quite narrow because it's a ball that's going to be contested. So they want to get the blue shirts in and around where the ball's going to go. Just see themselves making their way over to this right hand side. They're able to do runs towards the ball. So it's a contested ball. And Chelsea just be looking to win the second ball, get on the second ball, and maybe just apply a bit of pressure.
Twice as many shots in the game, Chelsea. Having played so long with 10. So Fernandes. Garnacho. That's Fofana. Arsenal with everybody back inside their own half.
Yeah, you just saw their gusto to make up the numbers. He's gone into midfield, so they're three at the back, in the build, three at the back, and the gusto goes into that midfield area. You see him there, just in the centre circle.
And he's so comfortable in there as well, isn't he?
Yeah, himself and Rich James, full-backs are really comfortable in midfield. It's been really important to see Rich James and now they've become the two midfield players holding the position, so they've got plenty of numbers behind the ball.
I mentioned the disciplinary issues that they
They've
also had plenty of practice against their full play with 10.
Yeah, exactly, and you see they've improved it, but the first thing when they first went down to 10 men against Man United, they obviously worked on it, and yeah, it's a performance so far that should be admired. They stepped up in the game, they've had the plan, a goal from a set piece. This they conceded against an Arsenal terrific bit of play from Saka, but they then managed the game very well since the game has become level.
It's a really hard-earned point if they do preserve it.
Rise.
For a twist or two. They're trying to give it up and taking all through themselves, but it's Arsenal looking the likelier here with Madueke. Still, Tony Madueke, just overrun it, I think. Gone beyond the line.
Good defending. That's the
Madueke.
Saka for the goal. He just really did. He didn't allow Madueke to get his head up and it runs away from it. They've actually swapped side. Madueke's gone right, Saka to the left now. I wonder if that's because he's recognised Mikel Arteta, Gusto's guiding into that midfield here. This is where the space will be down the left-hand side with the form that Saka's in at the moment.
They're equally capable, aren't they, on the side. Saka's, of course, played most of his football on the right. Okay, at times has been his deputy. 20 goals he got in the Chelsea shirt, 92 appearances for those opponents who have themselves another free kick here.
Screaming when they get a challenge in Chelsea, so the referee now they're being challenged. This is the first one you could hear him screaming there. That's about Madueke. And then Rich James makes sure Taylor's aware that he's been fouled. It's just breaking the game up, not allowing Arsenal to get any sort of rhythm or momentum in their game.
Towards the final 5 of the 90 now. Towards the lap. Kake was with him. That's anything clear. Just getting his boot to the ball ahead of Victor Gyökeres. And so Fernandes looking for Garnacho, who's able to collect it. And so Fernandes trying to stride all the way through.
What do you got? Like to Chono Riju. Arazmele. There was some. What do you got? This son is also
Willing support. He's the one who provides the cross. Not too deep though. Chelsea's attacking intent is still evident.
Right, the challenge on the halfway line continued his run. They can see three blue shirts attacking the box in the far post. Couldn't quite execute the cross.
Rise.
So fine margins going into these last 5 minutes.
Okay.
Of course, a bit beyond that as well.
Just watching Shuren Timber. He's actually going across the top line. Chelsea's defensive line, and Garnacho doesn't pick him up. He loses it. And he becomes spare.
There's Odegaard, who was looking a bit for Marino in the middle again. Rafa Sanchez reached it quickly.
ተጠቀው ኢንካፔ ሞታል እንዳያልፍ
Going for that far top corner. It was close, but it wasn't close enough.
Not quite close enough. I enjoyed their last duel when Campbell came up on top. This time, he just attacks the goal. He can't quite get enough curl, and it's a good idea. And he's absolutely right to take it on. Can't quite execute.
Scored in his last 2 Premier League games, Pedro Neto. Looking to make it 3 in succession for the first time.
Where's had a touch as yet? I can't remember him having touched the ball.
One with back to goal on halfway, and that's about the extent of it that I remember.
The next touch will be the most important one. We always talk about Haaland not getting many touches. He has a lot more touches now, but Gyökeres is a goal scorer. He won't be worried about that. So it's operate at the top end of your picture and around Fofana and Chalobah. And he'll just be looking for the cross to win after this game.
God, hurdling one challenge. Timber.
Win it.
This is Marino, and Sanchez down smartly. Quickly back to his feet again. He's hurt in the process.
ምንም አላረገውም እንዴ
That's a painful one for Robert
50 ኳስ
Sanchez. An intervention that was desperately needed by the Blues in the field.
ወይኔ ቢጫ ካርድ ያሰጣል ኦኬ እንዴ ጨፈራችሁ በጣም በቃ ቢጫ ያሰጣል እስማማለሁ
And it's quite easy, goalkeeper for Robert Sanchez. All he can see is the ball. He can't see the keeper. The ball's spun out from Sanchez. And like any centre forward when the ball's 3 yards from goal, he's gone all in. I said about his touches. This one was one he didn't mean. It's falling for Marino. But he's the one who's on the front foot. And the ball's there, and he's already committed to the slide when Sanchez is going through the ball. Sanchez does really well to recover, to get up again. He's already slided, so yeah, it's a foul, but I think Robert Sanchez will be okay.
Well, the referee showed me yellow card to Gyökeres, and that decision has been confirmed by VAR. He said it was somewhat reckless from Gyökeres, but he had every right to go for the ball, exactly as you were saying, Leroy. So the yellow card stands.
And it's amazing when the centre forward comes and you just wonder whether he's going to have a moment in the game. Maybe that was his moment. And in the end, Robert Sanchez makes that another good side. This time to his left-hand side. It shows how strong he is on both sides. That save in the first half down to his right-hand side for Martinelli was terrific. But this one was just as good and vital in terms of Chelsea trying to secure some points out of this game.
A good game, wasn't he, Robert Sanchez, in that Chelsea goal? There's critics, of course. Some surprised that they didn't sign another goalkeeper in the summer, but he's seemingly growing into the role.
Yeah, it seems like he's learning on the job, and that's sometimes it's the best way. It's not always perfect, the first few seasons, but for a goalkeeper, he's still fairly young goalkeeper in terms of goalkeepers up mature to their late 20s, and he's certainly improved, and they're giving him that platform, and his confidence is building.
There's this one away. That's the 90 minutes now before we find out how much it will be extended by. Nice forward cut out by Fofana, back for Declan Rice again. Marino. Malo Gusto for Chelsea. The player down in the centre circle as Marino steps in to win it against Malo Gusto. It's Pedro Neto that's got the issue.
On the back of his ankle. Studs down the back of his ankle. What he's looking at is a skelly. Yeah, just catch him down the back of his ankle. It's a sore one.
4 more minutes from here.
ኧረ በጣም ትንሽ ነው 4 ሚኒት ግን
We are to get a winner on Derby Day.
4 ደቂቃ ጭማሪ
I just feel that even in extra time, there's going to be a moment for either side. Even with Chelsea, still trying to press with the 10 men. Arsenal will be looking for that one moment to take away 3 points from secure their place at the top of the table.
It's the second of 3 consecutive Premier League derbies for Arsenal after the win over Spurs last week. They host Brentford on Wednesday night. They lost 3 of their last 40 the derbies in the Premier League going into this one. And they will still believe they can win this one.
They certainly can. Looking for the main man. Who's going to be the man who's going to step up and try and get that goal? It should be a statement goal if they can get it. Both from both sides, from either side.
There's Rice. Gyökeres on the move in the middle.
Skelly, nice.
By Miles Lewis Skelly.
With Modric. Skelly.
Lewis Skelly with back to goal.
Incape.
There's Incapié to stand up the cross for Skelly. Gyökeres was hoping it would come.
Odegaard after Sakil. Offside.
Discipline defending from Chelsea, just pushing up when the ball goes back, just pushing up a couple of yards, then Saka and Timber offside on the far post. It just relieves the pressure. Look at that total off the ball. 65, 38 runs in the box. So they've got into those areas. I have to say that Chelsea have defended for the most part, apart from the one moment that Arsenal got their equaliser up to them.
Those runs haven't translated, have they, to clear chances to efforts at goal, really. That is to Chelsea's great credit today. Trying to see for that.
Interesting that Gusto's touchback. He's worked so hard down this right hand side. And both ends of the pitch.
And down on it was.
38 minutes down to 10 minutes. Trying to step up to a little bit more. And Chelsea players have done that. And it's a mirror image of Timber down that right hand side.
Square.
Plenty of similarities.
Odegaard.
The side still locked together. Here is Timber.
Timber.
And an advanced area again for Arsenal. It nearly came in the way of Lewis Skelly, but it was decisively dealt with before it did. They will try and return it. When Neto there first to ensure it didn't get as far as Noni Madueke just behind it. Lewis Skelly in space there.
Skelly. Rice. Skelly.
He is one that comes back his way from Rice. Now Mosquera to Incapié.
Modric.
3 Premier League starts between those two before today. Again,
Modric. Skelly to go.
Copy. Incapié had continued his run. Was able to reach it. Where nobody can get a decisive touch to it, but Bukayo Saka has it. Still the danger here. Marino again is his target. And this time it lands on the roof of the net.
It's terrific defending from Chalobah. They were outnumbered on that far post, the Chelsea players, when the ball comes over from this left-hand side. It's Incapié in the centre half. It's Chalobah on the far takes it away from Gyökeres. Right above this.
Gyökeres.
I've got it wrong twice, but I'll tell you what, you'll think they've got it wrong there because Gyökeres is in the perfect position to head that into the net.
He was just waiting to do
so.
The chance, and you wonder if that will have been Arsenal's last chance in the final seconds now. The stoppage time. It ends on Derby Day with the honours even at Stamford Bridge. So Arsenal's lead at the top this weekend is little to 5 points. 6 clear at Chelsea. Mikel Arteta's team extending their unbeaten run, but they had to come back from behind against the 10.